Hello, welcome to My Life Continues Everyday podcast. I am Amanda. Hello. My life.
My life will continue every day.
My life continues every day.
Well, my life continues every day.
We move. My life continues every day with Amanda. Hello. Okay, so a lot of testimonies from episode 15. I don't know, just because I wasn't expecting some of them, I don't think I've had so many people listen to episode 15 though, but I know I've gotten a lot of testimonies, new people, old people who perhaps were not even following before, who decided to for the first time play it, and oh my god, mind-blowing reviews at the end of the day, and I am grateful. Like I would say, this podcast is a miracle. I'm sorry if it doesn't sound well to you, but that's what it is to me, and it keeps me going. I do not want to overdo. I want to follow it the way it comes to me. And I hope somehow eventually it becomes big and that I'm not slacking and I'm not lagging behind and I'm not doing it the wrong way. I do not know it all, as a matter of fact. So yes, I hope it does not turn out like that. But at the moment, I just am comfortable, not because it's my comfort zone, but because I like the way it's touching lives and souls. I don't want it to be something else that might be beneficial to me, but not to others. That's not what my life continues every day means. And I hope I'm not making this sound like a parable, something twisted and you don't get it. But just understand that I'm keeping it simple and I'm doing it the way I feel we should do it right now. Getting to hear from you hearing from me. And we, somebody said this is a vent platform. I don't know. But if you are comfortable just pouring it all out here, which is, it's part of the things I accept here, so you can just, pour it out and breathe. Go ahead. By all means, you're welcome. Once again, I welcome you to My Life Continues Everyday podcast. And I will always urge you, please let people know about this podcast. Share to as much people as you can. Tell them about it and ask them to at least click and listen to one episode. Somehow it works miraculously or magically. So somehow it works that when people just listen, somehow they come back again. And I find that interesting. Thank you so much. So look at what happened sometime recently in my life, because of course, work has been here and there. Did I tell you? So my office is having their 5th year anniversary coming up. And I was, I'm in the publicity subcommittee, and how you're just listening to everything people are talking and people are saying, how you just listen to what other people are saying because you do not exactly know if you know what to say. You contribute, and at first it sounds like you're just talking to yourself. Oh, no, not them. Of course, they were accepting everything I was saying, though, but at the point I was telling myself, what are you even saying? Everybody else seems to be making proper contributions or just talking. I kept quiet. So eventually, I was picked to someone said, oh, you do spoken word poetry, and it seems like you know these things. So please, can you just help us with the scripting of the jingles, the sweeper, everything that will be used for the advert on radio? Can you do that for us? I was going to say no, but they said, oh, please, you can just do it, blah, 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 blah. And then boom, they moved on. And oh my God, I was left, I was just left to, compose all of these things. Not 1 or 2, no 3, no 4, just compose all of these things between that day and the next day, because he had to start running on radio. Of course, he had to go for approval and all of that. Okay, so I'm just trying to tell you guys, I have written and I've done and I've submitted, and they are so proud of me. They think I'm creative. Look at that. Okay, why am I sounding like that? But you know what it is. When you're in the midst of creatives and they think you are creative, not because, of course, sometimes people are, just being lazy and they want you to believe you're doing well. They keep hyping you. just let her do this thing so that we'll do and pass. But this is not possible because this is a radio, and everybody gets to suffer any derogatory statement, any insults, that comes with any bad piece I drop. So I believe, and I know I did a good job, by the way. It's not like I'm doubting myself. I'm just trying to let you know that really, I did a good job and I'm so proud of myself. I just said I should share it here because we should share good news too. So my boss is on the platform and then he saw it and he was like, oh my God, I think I got the creative crew I've been looking for. This is what I like. I like all of them. I like all of them. I love, the word is love. He said, I love all of them. And I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. And okay, so I feel excited. I'm not resting on my laurels yet. I want to do better. I want to do amazing things. And I love when I do anything creative and it is being acknowledged. Oh, by the way, you know I have been having my movie trailers, my mock movie trailers. Okay. One of these days, I'm going to upload it on this platform so you can listen to my mock movie trailers. I would love to do that. Do not forget you can leave me a voice message. If you're listening to this on Anchor FM, you know you can leave me a voice message, right? You can leave me a voice message. And if you think you want to listen to my trailers, my movie trailers, my mock movie trailers, then go ahead and tell me. But anyways, I'm going to still put it there so you could just see, just enjoy the goodness of creativity. This is not me hyping myself, but okay, so I have 2 stories and they are quite long, so I might not be talking too much, but I just wanted to tell you about my office and to tell you that another mock movie trailer is coming up. Watch out for this one. Trust me, it's going to be amazing. I believe it will be amazing. Now, the first story is something you would really want to. In fact, all my stories today, you should listen to all of them. As always, the stories shared on this platform, they are always mind-blowing. Sometimes they might sound simple, but when you think about it deeply, oh my God. So you're going to be saying that, oh my God. Now you're going to learn a lot. And in all, do not forget that your life continues every day. That's basically what the story is about. So let's hear this. This is from somebody who almost fell into the hands of a fraudster or fraudsters. Now, if you are in Nigeria, this is going to make a whole lot of sense. If you're from Nigeria, this would make a whole lot of sense to you when it comes to fraudsters and how they move about and what they do. Probably it might help you so you don't fall into their hands one of these days. I don't know. Maybe they've changed their tricks because this person I'm talking, this happened so many years ago. This person right now is a barrister doing so well, and all right, I wanted to put the other part, but it wasn't really necessary. So let's listen to the story.
Good evening, Amanda. Thank you very much for creating this platform, and thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share my story on your platform. My name is Jim Dumaga. I'm a lawyer. Back in the days, I got admission into the university. Back then, my parents were still in active service, so they were giving me money that should have been enough for me. But in my own thinking, I felt the money they were giving me wasn't really enough, because I needed a lot of money to oppress other students and more especially to impress the opposite gender, So once upon a time, I came back home to Umuahia, and I was walking on the road along Zagale Road. So I met one man that stopped me on the road and said he is a businessman from Togo, and that he came into town, that he supplied some goods to one KC Garments, and that he has been looking for where the woman's boutique is, that he has not been able to find it and all that could I help him look for where KC Garment is. So I wasn't interested. I told him I don't know where any KC Garment is, so I walked past him. So like a pole or two, when I moved out, I saw one other man stop me and said, what was that guy telling me? So I told him that he was asking me of where KC Garment is and all that. So before I could even say a jack, he beckoned the other guy to come. The guy now came back and narrated his story again. So even though I wasn't interested, but immediately he mentioned that he still has some other goods remaining apart from the one he supplied to that KC Garment. That he kept those goods in one Reverend Sister's house. That if you can just assist him so that he will just sell it off and then give us our own share of the money, and he can take the rest to go back to his country. So immediately I heard that the greed in me got affected, the greed in that in a normal human being. There's something about um, fraud victims. Before you be a fraud victim, there must be this atom of greed in you. You must want to reap where you did not sow. So I now remember that with that kind of money, that I could still, live the kind of life I wanted to live on campus and all that. I now said, okay, let's go. So we went to the place that he said he kept the goods. He entered inside and came out again and said, oh, that the reference sister that he kept the goods in her house went out, maybe that he went to church and all that. So, but that this one that he kept about 20,000 cartons of those goods there. That let him bring one sample of the goods that one of the cartons. That he kept one of the cartons in the kitchen. So he now brought out one note from there and asked us to check time for him, that he will rub it on his palms, with one chemical, and then after 3 minutes it will turn to what they use to do interior decoration, that he normally sells those things to Adonzeribe, Gwanyanwu, and some other big politicians. So he now rubbed that on his palms for like 3 minutes and opened it. It turned out to be 20 naira notes. I was shocked, I was surprised. Then I didn't know such a thing could happen. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was all fake and they were just fraudsters. So the guy said, please, so the other guy that was forming as if he is the Igbo guy now told me in Igbo and said, hey, can you imagine? This is what has done Soribe and the Gwanyanwu and all the politicians have been using to enrich themselves, and they'll be lying to this man that they use it for interior decoration. So the guy that said he came from Togo now said, please, master, I don't understand what this man is telling you. I cannot understand your language. It's you that I trust. I don't trust him. I was thinking that I was the one that was trusted. I didn't know that I was the Amungu. So eventually, the guy now said, the Igbo guy now said, okay, let's tell him the truth. So he now told the guy, see, this thing is Nigerian currency. If he's selling this thing to you, and they've been deceiving you, telling you that they use it for interior decoration without you knowing that it is Nigerian currency that you've been selling to them. So, but I just asked the guy a question. But he said he came from Togo and he landed in Port Harcourt. Does it mean that while you entered bus and came down to Maya, he didn't pay the driver, the conductor didn't give you change and all that? So the Igbo guy said, stop asking him that, he don't ask him those things, he doesn't know. I just allowed it to slide sharp. So they now said I should bring 200,000 naira. Let us use it and buy a big drum of chemical. That there's one white man that sells the chemical in a Federal Medical Center. So that when we wash out some money, that they will give him back my 200,000 first before we start sharing. So I told them that I don't even have any friend that has that kind of money, how much more me having it. So they also said, okay, now can I get 8,000? Let them buy the small bottle so that if we wash out some money, then you can go and buy the big drum. I said I don't have that kind of money. So they said, okay, the smallest bottle is 6,000 naira. I said I even allowed them to open the traveling bag. That was because I went to Abada to buy some stuff for school. So they checked my bag and they didn't see anything. Then I said, okay, do I have 200 naira? Let's enter taxi and go to Tinga Junction. That is Yalangwa. So that was when the sensitive me got activated. I said me that I just got admission into school. How can I go to Isialangwa? So they go and eat my meat. I said no, I'm not going. I think maybe the reason why I got myself was because I was not yet hypnotized, because it was later in life that I started hearing stories that if sometimes they hypnotize people, they can charm you with diabolic beings or whatever, that they can cause you to start bringing money for them, and you can withdraw all the money in your account and even borrow money from people and then give them. And story has it that the antidote for that is giving the person a hot slap. Thank God my own did not get to that point. So I escaped that. Now in a bid to also impress the female folks. There was a time that I have a lot of cousins, a lot of aunties, uncles in London. So they used to give me money then, and then also my parents were giving money, like I said earlier. So there was this my friend then in school that he was just almost like me too. So just we normally reason alike. So we're then in school where access some there were these two girls that were chasing them, So on one occasion we decided to take them out in the evening. So they agreed. But then when it was time for us to go out with them, they suddenly changed their mind and said they were not going again. So because of that, me and my friend we just said, okay, let's go and hang out. After all, we have our money with us. So we went to hang out in one joint in Enugu then in Nieva. So we didn't know that it wasn't like a nightclub. So when it was late in the night, they asked us to go. So we had to leave that joint by around 1 a.m., 2 a.m. We walked on the road, we were scared because dogs were barking and all that. So we got to Tiba Junction. I said, let's stay there for a while. So we stayed there till around 3 a.m., 4 a.m. We decided to start walking back to school. And then eventually we got arrested by the police. And even though I am sure, I am aware that they knew we were in armed robbers, but they just wanted to make money from us. So when they locked us up, they said we should call people that would bail us. Then eventually the next day we were bailed, and then it wasn't a nice experience at all. That was when I understood clearly what my dad used to tell me then, that there's no shortcut to the top of the palm tree. So I started studying, I started reading my books, and then I graduated and I'm a lawyer today. I just thank God that greed did not allow me to mess up myself. So my advice to everyone listening to me is that do not look at where you fell, but where you slept. Still, my life continues every day.
Wow. A lot of things happening all at once. God. I'm glad he survived it. I'm glad he is here to tell the story. And I'm also glad he's quite successful today. And a reminder that you do not have to continue falling into a pit if there's a thing like that. You want to be adventurous. Okay, watch it. Just watch it, because anything could happen. And because you're falling today does not mean that you can continue to fall, all right? You just pick up yourself and say, okay, I'm making this decision. I don't want to do it. You can do it, I believe. The next story today is on a friend who is a theater artist. He's doing well for himself, actually. And maybe everything is not exactly the way he wants it to be now, but I know him and he's successful and he is a jolly good fellow and he dances well. I am scared of dance. Like, there's a thing I have about dance. I think that's why I don't even know how to dance. I think it's just recently I started trying out dance. I used to not really like dance. I just found, but when I watched this guy dance meant a whole different thing to me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, dancers. No offense. But if you see him dance, there's always a message that comes with it. And he is so good, flexible. He knows how to do these things on stage. Let's listen to his own story.
In my short time on earth, I've always found it interesting how one set plans and goals only to be thrown off path by unexpected circumstances and unforeseen issues. It's quite remarkable and at the same time honestly scary. Casting my mind back to couple of years ago, that should be 2018. I was in my final year then. I had a plan for what I was supposed to specialize in. Everything was set and was supposed to go smoothly. Then the first hiccup came. As a theatre art student, I was supposed to major in media. I'd always wanted to do media. But on the first media class of that session, the professor in charge of that class sent a couple of us out that were not qualified to major in her course because we didn't make up to a certain mark. I had heard of such things before, but I didn't believe it was true. I always believed they were a myth. So the thing was, what was I supposed to do? There was no other specialization course that would have gotten my attention or that I would have loved doing. So running through my options, I decided to major in dance. Dance has always been a hobby for me. It has been something I see myself doing career-wise, but it's something I just do for leisure. So I said, okay, so why not just give it a shot? So I registered for it and began to make the preparations for it. When some of my classmates found out that I was majoring in dance, a few of them came up to me and said, Duke, you're better off as an actor than a dancer. Don't go and embarrass yourself on stage. One went ahead to say, in fact, I wouldn't pay to watch you. That was the first heavy stone I really got in that angle. But the major concern was how to break the news to my parents. It was all set in stone what I was supposed to major in, and it was important for my after school career path that I major in media. It was quite critical that I do so. So, the moment I told them, as expected, things took a negative turn. First, they did not say things my way. No. In their view, I was just trying to do something lazy. I was shying away from hard work. I was trying to be useless and scatter my future. So, for a while, they were not even talking to me while I was in school. I was basically cut off. So I had no funding for my dance projects that I was working on. I had to use my own means to pay for it, and trust me when I say it wasn't easy. My dad told me that others were going to outshine me in it, that dance wasn't really my forte. Something in me really sparked that day, and I knew that I just had to prove everyone wrong. I had to. I didn't plan to do this, but this was what was dropped on my path, and I had to walk through it. So I set out to do exactly as I planned. Set out to push through, set out to overcome all the obstacles I was going to face, because believe me, it wasn't easy. Some people listening to this might be like, what's this? It's not just dance, but when you listen to the technicalities and look at the things behind the dance, you would understand that professional dancing is not easy. It's not a joke. So moving on along the lines, things began to go haywire for me. Every single thing was beginning to just go south. The worst was they were all beyond my control. Totally beyond my control. I was doing everything I can to be on track, to be on reading, but it was just going off. On this particular day, while I was rehearsing with a lady I picked for my dance as my dance partner, we had already mastered certain rhythms and moves, and we were just trying to perfect it, and for some unknown reason, I was just way off that day. I know people say some days are just like that, but that day was exceptionally off. I was either faster than the beat or slower than the beat, but I was never on beat, and the lady got frustrated and she walked out for that day. I got home and started thinking of everything right from the beginning and wondering how did I get to this very point? Because a couple of months back, give or take 5 months back, this was not what I saw myself doing. This was not the kind of situation I saw myself in. Before I knew it, depression started creeping in. It started eating at me from the inside. I was really out of shape. Some might say, why is this even an issue? But believe me, I said then in final year, being a theatre student, there was nothing more important than doing well in what you're majoring in. And at that point, I was slacking terribly. It just looked like exactly what everyone said, that I was just going to fail. I was going to be the bottom of the food chain. I was going to be the laughing stock of the production. So I had a lot of dark energy in me, quite a lot, I would say. And instead of letting it consume me, I decided to put everything in writing. I felt terrible and I was questioning a lot of things about the universe and life, but I wrote them down in a book. They were what a friend of mine classified as dark poems. When she saw it, she was really scared and was trying to tell me that I would be fine, you would be fine, you'd be okay. In a couple of years, you'd look back and say, is this what really had me depressed at this point? But being in that moment, it didn't seem so. But I pressed on, nonetheless. I didn't see any other visible option than to press on. So I did. Of course, I added prayers. I prayed for divine inspiration and grace. And gradually, just getting close to a few weeks to the production date, things began to turn out. Things began to show up in a way that I didn't even expect. My dance body or dance spirit came alive, and the me that I knew loved to dance began to appear. The rehearsals began to go smoothly. Everything began to move and operate like a well-oiled machine. So came the production day. The production day came. And I did everything just as I rehearsed it. Just as I rehearsed it. And fortunately for me, it came out perfectly well. It came out so good. So everyone who thought I wouldn't do well, they had nothing to say. They had nothing but applause. And here I thought, this was supposed to be the end of my problem for now. Little did I realize that this victory was only going to be temporary. The moment I was done with school, when time for clearance came, it turns out the Igbo GS carryover I had, that I believed was supposed to be waived, was never waived. In fact, it was not going to be waived. So while my friends were doing convocation, I was paying school fees for an extra year. Of course, there were other people who had the same issue, but it didn't feel right. I had never repeated a class in my entire life, and this just felt like it. The first Igbo exam came, and despite the fact that I made efforts to learn, I still didn't pass it. Then came the second one. Though I tried a different approach this time around than I did for the first exam. And my hard work bore possible fruits. I did pass it this time. But then a single year had gone from my plan. Things began to move differently. I came the next year to do my clearance, and I was held up. The moment things began to flow and flow well, the COVID-19 lockdown came. By the time school began to be operational again, another year had gone by. That's 2 years now. Eventually finished my clearance and got my certificate. But at the end of it, I'd taken a detour of 2.5 years of my life. For circumstances that I didn't see coming. Totally did not see it coming. But then again, what is there to do? One just has to keep pushing. After a while, I can say that I've found my bearing, found the direction at which I believe I'm heading to. And currently I can say I'm selling well. I believe for the time being the turbulences are over. But it doesn't wipe away the fact that precious time had gone. No, it doesn't change the fact that the precious lost time are gone. But nevertheless, my life continues every day. Thank you very much.
How did it go? I told you, these things happen to even the best of persons. It just happens, something hits you. It's like meteor rocks, you break into little particles. You're not even expecting it. you know, and you do not even know if you want to continue, but then you continue. This thing has a very mighty effect on you, shatters you, you're not sure where to start from, but you don't stop, because your life continues every day, because this is just a part of the process, and you know somehow it will get better. It's going to be a different story tomorrow, trust me. It won't be the same, and you'd be surprised how what you called problem last year is no longer a problem this year. And if you're careful enough, sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, sometimes some of these things are just a pointer or pointers to success. And success is a process, by the way. It doesn't just stop. So have this at the back of your mind. You are making progress. Wherever you think you are right now, you are making progress. And I'm proud of you and I appreciate you. Okay, so till we meet again, I just want to stop here. And I want you to know that you can reach out to me on social media, on Facebook and on Instagram at Charlie Mandy, CHARLEY space MANDY. Oh, no space, just Charlie Mandy. You're going to see me. I am Amanda Elo, and my life continues every day. Do not forget to share this podcast. You can leave me a voice message. You can as well reach out and tell me what you think we need to do on My Life Continues Everyday podcast. I enjoyed today's edition, and I hope you did too. Get uplifted and do not give up. I love you. Till we meet again, may God bless you and may His angels protect you.
I got you. I'm living a good life, no stress and no strife. Every day I keep moving up. Monday to Sunday, steady balling. If you can be one nature,